History is filled with women who broke the rules and reshaped the world. These legends didn't just follow the path, they forged new ones. From leading revolutions to sparking innovation, their courage shattered barriers and left a lasting impact. Yet many of their stories remain hidden. Join us as we uncover the incredible journeys of these trailblazing women, whose legacies continue to inspire and empower us all. Welcome to my channel, Silent Centuries. Across the annals of history, countless women have risen against overwhelming odds to change the course of events. Their names might not always be the first that come to mind, but their influence is undeniable. These are women who led nations, challenged societal norms, fought for their people, and made groundbreaking discoveries. They are legends not just because of their extraordinary achievements, but also because they defied the limitations of their time. In this journey, we will explore the lives of some of these remarkable women, whose legacies continue to inspire and empower us today. From the ancient world to the modern era, their stories are a testament to the strength, intelligence, and resilience of women throughout history. In the sun-soaked lands of ancient Egypt, one woman stood as a symbol of both its grandeur and its tragic downfall: Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt. Born into the Ptolemaic dynasty, Cleopatra was destined to rule a kingdom that was, at the time, one of the most powerful in the world. But she was no mere figurehead. Cleopatra was a ruler of exceptional intellect, political shrewdness, and unyielding determination. From a young age, Cleopatra was immersed in the complexities of governance. Fluent in multiple languages, including Greek and Egyptian, she was the first in her dynasty to learn the native tongue of her people, a move that endeared her to the Egyptian populace. Cleopatra's education was rigorous, covering subjects from philosophy and oratory to astronomy and mathematics, which prepared her for the monumental task of ruling a kingdom in decline. Her reign began amidst a backdrop of internal strife and external threats. Cleopatra's path to the throne was fraught with challenges, including a civil war with her own brother. However, it was her alliance with Julius Caesar that solidified her power. Cleopatra's relationship with Caesar was both political and personal, and it allowed her to regain control of Egypt, which had been weakened by years of internal conflict. After Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra formed a strategic alliance with Mark Antony, another powerful Roman leader. Their partnership was one of both passion and politics, as they sought to protect their respective interests against the rising power of Octavian, later known as Augustus. Despite their combined efforts, their forces were eventually defeated at the Battle of Actium. Faced with the inevitability of capture and humiliation, Cleopatra chose to end her life, thus closing the chapter on one of the most dramatic stories in history. Cleopatra's legacy is complex. She was portrayed by her Roman adversaries as a seductress who manipulated powerful men to achieve her goals. However, history reveals her as a capable and intelligent ruler who fought fiercely for her kingdom's independence. Her life and reign have been immortalized in countless works of art, literature, and film. But the real Cleopatra was a leader who understood the delicate balance of power in a world dominated by men. She remains a symbol of beauty, intelligence, and the enduring power of a woman who refused to be forgotten. In the midst of the 100 Years' War, when France was teetering on the brink of collapse under the weight of English invasion, a young peasant girl emerged from the obscurity of her village to lead her nation to a series of improbable victories. Her name was Joan of Arc, and her story is one of faith, courage, and sacrifice that has resonated through the centuries. Joan was born into a humble farming family in Domremy, a small village in northeastern France. From an early age, she claimed to have received visions from saints and heard divine voices instructing her to save France from English domination. At the time, France was deeply divided, with much of its northern territory under English control and the legitimate heir to the throne, Charles VII, in exile. Joan's conviction that she was chosen by God to restore the French monarchy was unshakable, and despite her lack of military training, she set out on a mission to fulfill her divine mandate. At the age of 17, Joan convinced Charles VII to allow her to lead an army to the besieged city of Orleans. Dressed in armor and carrying a banner emblazoned with religious symbols, Joan's presence on the battlefield inspired the French troops. Her leadership and unwavering faith were instrumental in lifting the siege of Orleans, a turning point in the war that led to a series of French victories. Joan's successes earned her the nickname the Maid of Orleans, and she became a symbol of hope and national pride for the French people. However, Joan's meteoric rise was not without peril. Captured by the Burgundians, allies of the English, Joan was handed over to the English authorities and put on trial for charges that included heresy and cross-dressing for wearing male military attire. The trial was a sham, aimed at discrediting her, and by extension, Charles VII's legitimacy as king. Despite the grueling and biased proceedings, Joan remained steadfast in her beliefs, refusing to renounce her divine mission. On May 30th, 1431, Joan was burned at the stake in the marketplace of Rouen. She was just 19 years old. But Joan's death did not extinguish her influence. Instead, it solidified her status as a martyr and a symbol of French resistance. 25 years later, a retrial ordered by the Pope cleared her of all charges, and she was declared a martyr. In 1920, nearly 500 years after her death, Joan of Arc was canonized as a saint by the Catholic Church. Joan of Arc's legacy is one of unwavering faith and courage in the face of impossible odds. Her story continues to inspire countless people around the world, and she remains a national heroine of France. The tale of the young girl who led armies and stood firm in her convictions against the greatest power of her time is a powerful reminder of the impact one person can have on the course of history. In the late 16th century, a woman ascended the throne of England and became one of the most powerful and influential monarchs in history. Queen Elizabeth I, the last of the Tudor dynasty, reigned over a golden age of exploration, culture, and military might, earning her the title of the Virgin Queen. Elizabeth's path to the throne was anything but straightforward. Born to King Henry VIII and his second wife, Anne Boleyn, Elizabeth's early life was marked by uncertainty and danger. Her mother was executed when Elizabeth was just 2 years old, and she was declared illegitimate. However, after the deaths of her half-siblings, Edward VI and Mary I, Elizabeth was crowned queen in 1558. Elizabeth's reign is often remembered as a time of great prosperity and national pride. She skillfully navigated the complex political landscape of the time, balancing the interests of her Protestant subjects with those of the Catholic powers of Europe. One of her most significant challenges came in 1588, when the Spanish Armada, a massive fleet sent by King Philip II of Spain, threatened to invade England. Elizabeth's leadership during this crisis was crucial. Her famous speech to the troops at Tilbury, in which she declared, "I have the heart and stomach of a king, and of a king of England too," rallied her forces and led to a decisive victory that secured England's independence. Under Elizabeth's rule, England became a major global power, with explorers like Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh expanding English influence to the New World. The arts flourished as well, with playwrights like William Shakespeare and Christopher Marlowe creating works that remain central to English literature. Despite the pressures to marry and produce an heir, Elizabeth chose to remain single, declaring herself married to her country. This decision allowed her to maintain control over her throne and avoid the political complications that marriage could bring. Her reign, known as the Elizabethan era, is often seen as a high point in English history. Elizabeth I's legacy is one of strength, intelligence, and independence. She transformed England into a major power and left an indelible mark on history. Her reign is a testament to the impact a determined and visionary leader can have on the course of a nation's destiny. In science, few have made as lasting an impact as Marie Curie, the pioneering physicist and chemist who became the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and the only person to win Nobel Prizes in 2 different scientific fields. Her groundbreaking work on radioactivity revolutionized our understanding of atomic physics and laid the foundation for advances in medicine and technology that continue to benefit humanity today. Born Maria Skłodowska in Warsaw, Poland, in 1867, Marie faced numerous obstacles on her path to scientific achievement. At a time when women were often denied access to higher education, Marie's determination led her to Paris, where she enrolled at the Sorbonne and earned degrees in physics and mathematics. There, she met Pierre Curie, her future husband and scientific collaborator. Together, the Curies conducted groundbreaking research on radioactivity, a term coined by Marie herself. Their work led to the discovery of 2 new elements, polonium, named after Marie's native Poland, and radium. The significance of their research was recognized globally, and in 1903, Marie and Pierre, along with Henri Becquerel, were awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. Tragedy struck in 1906 when Pierre died in a tragic accident, leaving Marie to continue their work alone. Undeterred, she took over Pierre's teaching position at the Sorbonne, becoming the first woman to teach there. Her continued research on radium led to a second Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry, in 1911. Marie Curie's discoveries were not without personal cost. Her prolonged exposure to radioactive materials eventually led to her death from aplastic anemia in 1934. However, her legacy lives on through the countless lives saved by radiation therapy and the scientific advances made possible by her work. Marie Curie's life is a story of perseverance, intellect, and groundbreaking achievement. Her contributions to science have left an indelible mark on the world, proving that determination and passion can overcome even the most formidable barriers. Harriet Tubman's name is synonymous with courage, freedom, and unwavering commitment to justice. Born into slavery in Maryland around 1822, Tubman's early life was marked by brutal treatment and unimaginable hardship. But it was her escape from slavery in 1849 and her subsequent work with the Underground Railroad that cemented her legacy as one of the most courageous figures in American history. After escaping to the North, Tubman did not rest in her newfound freedom. Instead, she made it her mission to help others achieve the same. Throughout more than a dozen dangerous missions, Tubman returned to the South, guiding over 300 enslaved people to freedom, often under the cover of night and always at great personal risk. Her extraordinary efforts earned her the nickname Moses, as she led her people out of bondage, just as the biblical Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt. However, Tubman's battle for justice did not end with the Civil War. She served as a nurse, spy, and scout for the Union Army, and after the war, she became an active supporter of the women's suffrage movement. Her life was a testament to the power of individual action in the face of overwhelming oppression. Harriet Tubman left a legacy of bravery, selflessness, and a dogged pursuit of justice. Her actions changed the lives of those she helped free and inspired generations to fight for equality and human rights. Her story is a powerful reminder of one person's impact on the course of history. In the early 20th century, the fight for women's rights reached a pivotal moment with the emergence of the suffragette movement in the United Kingdom. At the forefront of this movement was Emmeline Pankhurst, a woman whose tireless activism and unyielding determination helped secure the right to vote for women, changing the course of history. Born in 1858 in Manchester, England, Pankhurst was exposed to political activism from an early age. She became involved in the women's suffrage movement in the 1880s, but it was the founding of the Women's Social and Political Union, WSPU, in 1903 that marked the beginning of a more militant and determined phase of the struggle. Under Pankhurst's leadership, the WSPU adopted the motto, "Deeds, not words," and its members engaged in protests, hunger strikes, and acts of civil disobedience to draw attention to their cause. Pankhurst herself was arrested numerous times, enduring harsh treatment in prison. Yet, her resolve never wavered. Her actions, along with those of her fellow suffragettes, brought the issue of women's suffrage to the forefront of public consciousness, forcing the government to address the demand for equality. The outbreak of World War I brought a temporary halt to the suffragette campaign, but Pankhurst and her followers supported the war effort, believing it would help women gain the vote. Their contributions did not go unnoticed, and in 1918 the Representation of the People Act granted voting rights to women over the age of 30. It wasn't until 1928, the year of Pankhurst's death, that women in the UK gained equal voting rights with men. Emmeline Pankhurst's legacy is one of perseverance, courage, and a relentless pursuit of justice. Her leadership in the suffragette movement not only changed the lives of women in the UK, but also inspired similar movements around the world. Her story is a powerful reminder of the importance of standing up for one's rights, no matter the obstacles. In the 21st century, the fight for girls' education has found a powerful advocate in Malala Yousafzai, a young woman whose bravery and dedication to education have inspired millions around the world. Born in 1997 in the Swat Valley of Pakistan, Malala grew up in a region where the Taliban actively sought to suppress girls' education. Despite the dangers, Malala became an outspoken advocate for the right of girls to go to school. Her activism brought her to the attention of the Taliban, who viewed her as a threat to their control. In 2012, at the age of 15, Malala was shot in the head by a Taliban gunman while riding a bus home from school. The attack was intended to silence her, but instead, it amplified her voice on the global stage. Malala survived the assassination attempt and continued her advocacy, becoming the youngest ever recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014. She co-authored the memoir, I Am Malala, which details her experiences and her ongoing fight for education. Through the Malala Fund, she has championed the cause of education for girls around the world, particularly in regions affected by conflict and poverty. Malala Yousafzai's story is one of courage, resilience, and an unwavering belief in the power of education to change lives. Her efforts have brought global attention to the issue of girls' education and have inspired countless others to join the fight for equal access to education. Malala's legacy continues to grow as she advocates for a world where every girl has the opportunity to learn and thrive. The stories of these legendary women are just a few examples of how individual actions can change the course of history. Their courage, intelligence, and determination broke barriers and paved the way for future generations. From ancient queens to modern-day activists, these women have left an indelible mark on the world, proving that gender is no barrier to greatness. As we reflect on their legacies, we are reminded of the importance of continuing their work. In every corner of the world, women and girls fighting for their rights, challenging societal norms, and striving to make a difference. The journey toward equality and justice is far from over, but the paths these legendary women have forged serve as guiding lights, showing us the way forward. Their stories inspire us to ask ourselves, what legacy will we leave behind? How can we, too, change the world? The answers lie in the courage to stand up, the strength to persevere, and the belief that, like these women, we too have the power to make history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's most fascinating scandals, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Silent Centuries. We're uncovering forgotten tales and hidden stories from the past every week, and you won't want to miss out on our next captivating episode. Join our community of history enthusiasts, and let's explore the secrets of silent centuries together. Click the bell icon to get notified whenever a new video drops. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.